Yikes. There we go. There's my hands. I was trying to put down a bottle of water and I hit the book sticking out of my bookcase right here and I almost lost it. So, this is shit. I'm running out of room over here, people. This is the small Booktuber Tag, which is awesome because I have lost about 25 pounds. So that makes me feel a little bit better that I was included in this. Just kidding. It's for booktubers who have under 1,000 subscribers. And I just want to say, that was gross. I noticed recently that I have over 600 now. So, yay. Alright, cool. So thank you guys for that. And I don't know. I think Steve Partridge tagged me in this. I think he did. He talked about the channel, and he's awesome, and we'll talk about him again in a little bit. So, here we go. These are the questions. There's 7 questions, and at the end, I have a list the size of the Nile about booktubers that I would like to tag. First, introduce yourself. Hello there. I'm Matt. This is the Paperback Junkie channel. And let's see. I am rapidly approaching middle age. I don't really care that I am. But for those of you who have or are approaching that as well, you might have done the same things that I'm doing right now, which is constantly looking at your life and wondering what the fuck you're doing. And just what you've done, and is it all worth it? And then having little weird existential crises where you end up just lying face down in a pillow, kind of crying, maybe not so much. Yeah, so I'm kind of going through that right now. Not a whole lot of the crying, but a lot of everything else. Let's see. Where can I start? I basically have lived my life as a sort of nomad, kind of, in the sense that I have done a lot of things, but the things that I've done a lot of are things that aren't anything, well, I don't know. Basically, I've lived all over California, and I lived in Oregon for a little bit too. I haven't really worked a normal job in who knows how long. Since I was in high school, basically, I have done things like ran little record labels and promoted shows and done all that with like punk bands and hardcore bands and ska bands. And then I went from that. Oh, I guess I could. I got all this stuff out. Oh man, this is the same one. I can't find anything else. I'll just show you this. This is one of the bands I'm in, Creeperson. If you like a little horror with your stuff, that was like our Salem's Lot copy cover. I thought I grabbed a different one, but I ended up grabbing the same one. So like Creeperson's like kind of like a horror punk band. Been doing that since 2004. Kind of goth rock, dark wave, kind of stuff like that if you're into it. Then I have a bit of an edgier project called the Murder Cult. And if you just like if you go to creeperson.com or themurdercult.com, and then I have like a acoustic, more country inspired singer songwriter thing. And if you go to ihatemattwall.com, you could hear that kind of stuff. And then from there, I started making movies, and I have a bunch here to show you. I didn't realize I had this many of the DVDs because, as you know, DVDs are kind of out, you know? Oh, this is awesome. This is one of the first ones of mine that came out. And this is the Thai VCD release of a movie I did called Orgy of Blood. And as you can see, oh yeah, there's stars over the bits you shouldn't be looking at. But yeah, this was like some weird vampire thing. Let's see what else we got here. This is the first movie of mine that I ever sold. OC Babes in the Slasher Zombie Town. I don't know where the hell this cover came from. This was the original that we made and put out. It's not very good. None of my movies are great, I'll say that. This was a collection of my shorts. This is my Frankenstein movie. This is the first movie I ever made. That was a lot of fun. I like that one a lot. Ding Dong Dead. This is about a girl gang of girls who ring people's doorbells and run away. And then they rang the doorbell of one dude that was just a little too nutso for them, so that was pretty cool. Here is the first short film I ever made. I don't know what the fuck that is. This is a movie killing spree that came out in Belgium that had some of Creeperson's music on the soundtrack. This is Erection. This movie was a lot of fun. This was like the third movie I made, maybe second or third, and this is like out of print. Like you can't get this anywhere. We had some sound issues on it. That's a exploded person in a bathroom. There's that. Here's a music video that I did. Hey, you want to see what I look like with long hair and mascara? Yeah, that's me. Or eyeliner, I mean. With like, here's my mouth, it's open. Corporate Cutthroat Massacre. This was fun. I got to work with my good buddy Charlie in this one. And then if you watch gay cinema, I was in this movie that Charlie did called Vampire Boys with a Dylan Vox. I just played this dude. I don't know. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, The Bitch That Cried Wolf with Mindy Robinson. That's fun. Theater Deranged. This was a short collection, like an anthology thing. I did a movie on there. Peeping Blog. I was wondering where the other one was. Oh yeah, that was the original one I did. Look how dusty that is. I'm sorry. Peeping Blog. And here's the original Frankenstein cover I did. And then here's he. Who's that sexy little... Yeah, that guy's good looking. Yeah, that was a fun one. Oh, here's another music video of me with a bunch of makeup on. What's this? Oh, Decomposing Jack. This is like one of my favorite things I ever did. I actually just wrote a book version of this, a novelization. So there are some movies I've done. I did them all under the Creep Creeperson name. Oh, and then I started writing books in like I guess 2012, 2013. I wrote one in 2006 and one in 2007, but the ebook craze hadn't really hit yet, so nothing really happened. But I got all my Black Star Canyon books, and Zoe did these covers. Uh, I really like them. And then here's the last one. I don't have the paperback of the 5th one. And here are some, oops, shit's going all fucked up. I've shown these before. My Hank Bradshaw Mysteries, Dead Dame Walking and Dead Dame in a Trunk. Yeah, so that's my life. God, what a legacy. Bunch of shit movies and some books and some loud music. Yeah, that's it. That's my life. That's what my family gets when I croak. That's awesome. How long have you been on YouTube or Booktube? I started in May of last year, 2017, and I think me, Catalyst Reads, which is Michael Deutsch's channel, Steve Partridge and Richardson Reads, I'm pretty sure we all started like on the same week at the end of May last year, which is really weird. So it's fun to watch those guys and see how their channels grow, since we all kind of started together. So that was pretty cool. Number 3, what type of videos do you do? I mainly do, we do a lot of book hauls, me and my wife Zoe. Those are pretty popular. But we do book hauls, and we could do a lot of them because we usually go to like thrift stores and used bookshops, or buy stuff on like abe.com, like, or Amazon. Real cheap books. So like we could spend like $30 and like come back with like 20 books or something like that. So we could do a lot of those. And then I usually talk about the books I'm reading, I guess. It's not very formal. It's just like this. I'm like sitting here like whatevs, you know. But I just chat. And there have been things I've done where I'm trying, like I go, okay, I'm going to do a series of this. But then it doesn't really catch on and I don't get a lot of feedback from it. And those videos are generally, they take longer to edit. So if I'm not getting like a huge response for it, I won't do them because there's other things I'd rather be doing. And this kind of goes into the next question. What do you love about Booktube? One of the things I don't love about Booktube is editing videos. And the reason I say that is because when I'm editing a video, it usually takes longer to edit the video than to make the video. And I would rather spend that time reading or writing. I have done AuthorTube videos, and I would like to do more of those. I just don't know, like, what you guys want to know. Like, if I do AuthorTube videos, like, are there topics that you would like to go over? Like, Zoe and I used to do a podcast, a self-publishing and creative writing podcast for a couple years. And that was a lot of fun. And I hit a lot of those things. And I don't know if those are still up. I don't think they are. I think I just let the site lapse. It was a podcast 451. And then we changed it to Off the Walls or something like that. Some stupid play on our last name. So that was a whole lot of fun. The other things that I love about Booktube, and it's kind of weird because one of the things is I love the community aspect, like the friends I've made on it, and just being able to like chat with people and shit. But I don't do it very often, and I want you guys to know that like I would love to talk to you guys, like on Voxer or Skype or Hangouts or whatever. Um, I just I don't. It's not in my nature to like just start talking to people. And all of all of your comments I read. Zoe's actually been responding to comments more than I have been, um, and I don't know why it's such an issue for me. It's just like one of those weird introverted things where I don't know. And it's so funny because the other day Zoe brought a friend over. I don't know if I shared this yet. She brought a friend over from work, and we were like just hanging out talking, and I went through this like whole big thing, like explaining to her that I've tried really hard to make sure that I don't have any friends. And it like came out so easily without me even thinking about it. And it was kind of shocking to me that like I actually put effort into not having friends. Um it's fucking weird. So that was kind of scary that and she's like, "What? You don't want to have friends?" And it like kind of freaked me out. I'm like, "God, I really actively try to make sure I have no friend circle." It's like I have a couple people who are my friends, and I talk to them kind of a lot, but then I'll like fall off the face of the earth for weeks. Um, and not to be a dick, it's just like I kind of go inside my head a lot, and so it's hard to, I don't know. So long story longer, I like the community aspect of BookTube. I also really like um, getting to find new books that like I wouldn't have normally found. Last night we were watching Steve Donahue, and he was talking about some book. I don't even know what the book is that he was talking about, but in talking about that book, he brought up another book called I'm gonna f this up, dude. Um, Oblomov, Oblomov, or something like that, about this guy who is having like a crisis about whether he wants to get out of bed or not, by some old Russian author. And as stupid as everything sounds, some guy having like a crisis about whether he wants to get out of bed or not, to me sounds like one of the greatest books ever. So I immediately went and found it and started reading it last night. And I never in a million years would have found that book if it wasn't for BookTube. So that is awesome. Like I love little things like that. Uh, Let me see. Number 5. What type of books do you read? I read a lot of crap that apparently nobody likes. Now, I say it like that because the first time someone ever mentioned this channel in another video, I believe it was, are you freaking kidding me? Ben Sanders said something, and he's like, it's the best channel you'll ever watch to hear about books you'll never read, or something like that. And I was like, oh, that's kind of a almost a backhanded compliment. But the more people bring up my channel, the more they say that, like they would never read the books that I'm talking about or whatever. And so I was kind of like, what the fuck is going on? How come like no one will read these books that I'm talking about? I appreciate the fact that you guys enjoy hanging out with me enough to hear me and Zoe talk about books that you'll never read. I think Zoe's taste is a little more palatable for the BookTube audience. But are there any books or any genres that you like hearing about more. Because, yeah, I've been on a Bukowski kick a lot lately. Do you guys like hate Bukowski? Because I know he's an acquired taste, but like I have also been doing a lot of Edgar Rice Burroughs, like the Tarzan books, the John Carter of Mars books, Pellucidar. I've been getting into some more pulps, some old hard-boiled detective stuff, which is kind of like my first love, like detective fiction and mysteries and thrillers and horror. Wow, I just said like 80 different fucking types of books is my first love. I do a lot of comic books too. Um, and I'm getting to the point where this month especially, or like this is kind of like a rehash from January. I have started so many different books because usually I'll have an audiobook, a print book, and an ebook, like all going at once. Um, but lately, I'll do this thing, and I used to never do this, but I heard people talk about it. And I'm like, oh, I'll try it. So like, if I find a book that I want to read or think I might want to read, I'll like read like the first chapter, and then next thing I know, like I'm reading fucking like half the book, and then I'm like, shit, I might as well just finish the book. So I'm trying to read more nonfiction as well, but it's nonfiction about like almost like the history of pop culture. I read a lot of video game books, like nonfiction stuff. Um, I'm reading a nonfiction book about comic books right now. Uh, what else do I got here that's nonfic? Well, I don't want to waffle too much here. So there's all that. Favorite video that I made? Question number 6. I don't know about a favorite video because typically I just hit record and go. But I was talking to Zoe about this, and she said her favorite video is the one where I pretended I was Agatha Christie or Miss Marple or something, and put like flour in my hair to make it like white, and I was like, hello, like all Mrs. Doubtfire and shit. She really liked that. I, in thinking about it recently, I really liked the video I did on authors' typewriters. That was a lot of fun. But again, that's one of those videos that takes me a while to make. So, unless there's like a huge, like people are like, yes, that was awesome, do that, do that. I don't know if I'll do that necessarily. And then I'm trying to think, is there anything else that I really like? Who gives a schwack? Now I'm going to tag a bunch of small booktubers. Now I want to talk about a couple things. If you are a newer booktuber, listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth, okay? Please. 1, don't change your channel name. Find a channel name and kind of stick with it as if it were like burned into your flesh, okay? Unless you completely change your channel, because I've been having a really hard time finding booktubers that I watched. And when I was making this list, and again, to explain this, I have a YouTube account. I actually have a few different YouTube accounts, and Zoe has an account. And on the TV where we watch most of our booktube videos, that's on a different account. That's not on my Paperback Junkie account. I think that's on my Creeperson account. And then Zoe has an account, and she watches on her phone. I have an account that I sometimes watch on my computer, but I usually watch on my phone. And so I was going through on my computer booktubers that I watch. And there were a bunch that I am subscribed to on my Creeperson account that I'm not subscribed to. I think it's my Creeperson account, isn't it? well, anyway, that I wasn't subscribed to on my Paperback Junkie account. And I thought I was having like one of those moments where I'm like, did I make up a booktuber? Have I been like pretending that these videos are playing and this person doesn't even exist? Like I thought I was going crazy. And then I would like look around, but like there's a couple who I really like and their channel has nothing on it right now. And I'm like, what the heck? And it's like I probably haven't watched them in like a month or something like that, and like they either deleted all their videos or there's a couple people who left their old channel up and then made a new channel, and I'm just like, for fuck's sake, don't make this harder than it has to be, folks. Just fucking do your shit. Don't change your picture a bunch, like your little icon, because a lot of times, especially me, I just look for a picture I recognize when I'm like going through my subscriptions. I'm not even looking at names. And if you change your picture constantly, I'm not going to know, and other people aren't going to know either, who you are or whatever. So there's that. But yeah, I have a hefty list because I realized that most of the booktubers I watch have under, most of them have under 300 subscribers. And I don't know what that tells you about my watching, but and then there's also some booktubers who I thought would be over 1,000 that aren't, which shocked me. And then there were some that I went to put on this list who have just made it over 1,000. So for those of you who have made it over 1,000 recently, congratulations. That's super awesome. So good luck with that. Let me see. Okay, this is kind of a big list. So first off, Jody Hart's books. She doesn't post very regularly, but when she does, it's awesome. She has, if you like the books on this channel, you'll probably like the books on her channel. She's like some like weird stuff that she's put up. She put up some like wrestling books that was kind of awesome. Her bookcase behind her, in most of her videos, has amazing books in it. And like the last few things she's been doing has kind of been fantasy and like D&D related stuff, which is kind of cool. Crud, some of these I didn't put like what they are next to it. So I'll edit some stuff in here. DJ Legion's bookshelf. He does hauls. He's into a lot of the same similar stuff that I'm into. He also gets a lot of the Eastman edition books, which are amazing to look at. Liz Schubert. I'll put all these down below, by the way. If you like the books that Zoe likes, you'll probably like her channel. Richardson Reads is amazing. I know a lot of people who I've been watching have been putting him in this list. He's a librarian, extensive book collection, a lot of sci-fi and fantasy. Great stuff. Todd the Librarian, a lot of horror and fantasy, and a lot of the paperbacks he has are kind of the older paperbacks, which is kind of for me. Peg the Book Prize Addict, also Peg the Changes Her Name Addict. She's really fun. She was only doing sci-fi for a while, and then she started doing book prize books, but she's great. And me and Zoe might go over to her house and make her be our family at gunpoint. Mindy's book journey. She does a lot of darker stuff, a lot of book tags. Brandon Guimond, I hope I pronounced your name right, man. He does a lot of fantasy stuff, and he's a big Brandon Sanderson fan. And I keep wanting to talk to him about this and have like a sit down, because I know Brandon from, not the booktuber but the author, from the Writing Excuses podcast, and I kept hearing he writes books and all this stuff, but I had no idea that he was like as big of an author as he is. So I would love to like pick his brain about that. World of Sleuths is another channel who does a lot of thrillers and detective and mysteries. A lot of hauls with like secondhand bookstores and stuff like that. So that's pretty awesome. Indian Insomniac. This is an odd channel because he only does like hardcore erotica reviews with pictures. No, I'm just kidding. He doesn't do that. His channel, he's just rebooting his channel, and this would be a great time to jump on and see what he's doing, because it's almost like starting from scratch with the whole outlook of the channel. So that's pretty cool, and he's a great guy. Crud, Dark and Twisty Books, does a lot of dark and twisty books, but also a lot of the more normal booktube fare. So it's a good mix. Eric Peterson does amazing book hauls and collects awesome books, like some vintage, some not. But if you like the books on this channel, you would probably like those as well. Matilda Gothica, she does a lot of comics and other books as well, but she is from Israel, and that's where she lives and stuff. So there's a lot of like Israeli looking books, I guess you could say, like translation wise. So that's always cool, like to see those things. Becky Bookworm, I was shocked. I thought for sure she was way over 1,000. But Becky Bookworm does a lot of horror and sci-fi fantasy stuff, weird, darker stuff. So if you like that stuff, check her out. And she has ferrets and stuff. So that's kind of fun. Secondhand Shan, another person who is kind of revamping their channel right now. She does like fantasy and kind of darker books as well, but she's also doing she's adding gaming to her channel, which is awesome because like I love gaming as well. So if you like gaming and books, check that out. Bookish Mel does a lot of darker thrillers and stuff like that. Paperback Mania, like a lot of horror paperbacks, like vintagey ones. So take a look at that. Sir Book Sage is a lot of fantasy. He's actually doing like a Harry Potter thing right now. Plots and Points, very, very funny guy. Almost too funny sometimes. Makes me almost tinkle. Let's see. Jesse Trafton, Rebel Reads. Check this out. Here's an example. Jesse was gone from BookTube for like 2 years or something like that, and just came back. Does a lot of the darker books. So definitely check that out. Beck's Books does a lot of fantasy. And she also, I think she does a lot of role-playing games. Not on her channel, but I think that's something in there. And then it's so funny, like I have these big giant stupid thumbs. I don't know if you've ever seen them, but so I'm like typing on my phone like, and I went to write down Steve Partridge, and it says let's see, starve parties. So I'm glad I remembered what that was. Uh, that's hysterical. Starve parties. But he is in Germany. He's a British citizen, I think. I think he's a citizen still. I don't think he has any. I don't know. I might be getting a little too personal. But he's awesome. And the thing about him that's really cool is, and me and Zoe were talking about it last night. He's getting pretty sassy. At first, he was just like a normal dude doing videos on all different kinds of books, and he's like doing well, he did one Iris Murdoch video, and he's like moving into doing more, supposedly. But he's getting a little sassy, and the sassiness is pretty awesome. Compared to like his earlier videos to now, he's comfy in front of the camera now. And we're not 100%, but there's a good possibility that he does his videos from either a convent or an insane asylum. I'm not 100% sure. I keep asking him to do like, well, I've asked him once to do like a tour of his place to make sure he's not like in prison and he's actually making videos with like coded messages in them that are like, help me, get me out of here. And he says he's going to do it, but he hasn't done it yet. So you never know. And there's a couple other people in here, and I didn't put stuff. Eric Smith. I remember Eric Smith now. Eric Smith is doing... This is so crazy. He's doing reviews of books that he's read that go back. He's starting in 1985. Like, books that he read that long ago. And, like, talking about them and stuff. Which is amazing. And I... Like... Like... God, talk about content for days. Like, if you could go back to 1985 and start talking about the books you got. So anyway, I know I said, like, a ton of people. Was there anyone on here that I didn't talk about? Yeah, maybe. Okay, so I'll post all these down below. And I'll even post the ones that I didn't really talk about on there as well, because this video is long. Okay, so anyway, go give all them a follow and give them some love, and talk to me down below if you are on Voxer. Just look up either Matt Wall or Paperback Junkie, and there's some cheesy ass picture of me doing something cheesy. And then yeah, so this was a lot of fun. So I don't know who actually started this. This might have been Wild Reads. Not 100% on that. I should do more research, I think. But anyway, so I'll be back later. Maybe today. I don't know. Depends. So take care, guys.